Hey guys, today we're moving into talking about standard form of lines, but I do want to talk about what we've learned about lines so far. So far we've talked about this form, y equals mx plus b. And remember I said this was like a pretty present given to you, because if you look at it, you can tell right here, m, and you can always tell what m is because it's right next to your x, is your slope. And then you have your b, which is your y-intercept. So it's given to you. You can just look at it and know m is slope, b is y-intercept. When talking about slope, we've learned lots of different things because we're math people. And again, we can't just have one simple word that means one thing. We've got to have 82 different words that mean the same thing. So slope, you might hear rate of change. You might hear y per x. You might hear rise over run. Maybe change in y over change in x. And again, all of those things mean slope. And with slope, remember that video we watched? And we had the mountain, and we had puff, puff, positive, nice, negative. This is 0, fun, and undefined. Where are different slopes we could have. Every line has a slope. It's one of those four: positive, negative, 0, or undefined. Then we also talked about y-intercept. Again, this is our beginning. Our b is our beginning, and it's always given in points 0, y. You might hear starting or initial value. These all mean y-intercept, and it's where the graph crosses the y-axis. Well, if there's a y-intercept, there's also a x-intercept. And remember with the x-intercept, I told you to write this word, socks, and then you draw a line through it. That's your x-axis. And all of these things mean x-intercepts. So you have solutions, zeros, x-intercepts. All of those things mean the same thing, and it's given in x comma y, 0. So that's kind of what we've learned so far about lines. Again, the y equals mxb is called slope intercept form because we are math people, we're not creative. Slope intercept form because it gives you a slope and it gives you an intercept. That's the pretty way. There's another form. This one, ax plus by equals c, is the other form, and this is called standard form. And this one's not in a nice, pretty present given to you with a big bow. This one you have to work for finding stuff. Again, slope-intercept form, you could just look at it, no. Slope, intercept, done, I can graph it, we're good to go. Standard form, you gotta work for it a little bit. So standard form. So if you look at these are all given in standard form. The 2 would be my A, the 4 would be my B, and the 12 is my C. Oops. When I look at this, though, if I'm trying to put it in y equals mx plus b, or slope-intercept form, I have to solve for y, what we do every single Friday, solve for y. So I'm going to draw my line. Y is on this side. Everything else that is not a y goes over here. So this 2x does not have a y. He's got to get moved. Well, the opposite or inverse would be subtracting 2x. And whatever I do to one side, our golden rule is I've got to do it to that other side. 2x minus 2x goes away. I'm left with 4y. And over here I've got negative 2x plus 12, or you could have 12 minus 2x. Either way, I just like to put my x's first. Then I've got 4y, but what did I want? I wanted 1y. So I divide everything by 4. And I've got y equals, that simplifies to negative 1/2 x plus 3. So there it is in slope-intercept form. So now I can look at it and I can know my B and my M. And again, that is slope, that is y-intercept. But you have to work for it and you've got to solve it first. Same thing here. Y, this time I'm adding 3x because it was a negative 3x. And I've got 5y equals 3x plus 25. I'm going to divide by 5 to get y by itself. So I've got y equals 3/5 x plus 5. And again, I can just look at it and know there's my slope and there's my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is 5 on the y-axis, and then I'm going up 3 over 5, and it's going to be a positive slope. This guy, draw my line, y over here, everything else over here. I've got to add x to both sides, and I'm left with 7y equals x plus 12. Then I'm going to divide by 7 by everything. And I've got y equals 1/7 x plus 17 over 7. And again, I can just look at it and know there's my b, and there is my m. So again, you kind of have to work on finding it. It's not given to you with a nice pretty bow on it. There it is. Important things to remember for today. One is your x-intercept. This is on x-axis, where your graph crosses your x-axis and the point is given x comma 0. So whatever number x is, if it's over crossing at 5, it's 5 comma 0. Crossing at negative 2, it's negative 2 comma 0. Y-intercept is on your y-axis, and its point is given 0 comma y, because I'm not moving left or right at all on my graph. So if I had a graph here, here's my x, here's my y. This point here, we'll say that's at 2. So this point would be at 2. We'll go put this one up here. This guy is over 2, up 0. This guy's over 0, up 3. And there's my line going through it. But those would be my points. Okay. So here's our options. Option 1 is to find the x-intercept, find the y-intercept, and graph it. And again, to find x-intercept, you plug in 0 for y and solve for x. To find y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x and solve for y. It's opposite. And then you can graph once you get the points. So then you could put the points, hey, it's here and it's here. Then you just connect the dots and you've got your line then. So that's option 1. Find x, find y, plot your intercepts, and then graph it by connecting the points. Option 2 is to do what we kind of just did. You solve for slope-intercept form, which means solve for y. Then you've got y equals mx plus b, and you've got your slope, and you've got your y-intercept. Slope and your y-intercept. So those are the 2 options. We have 2 examples down here. I'm going to do one way and one the other way. You pick your favorite. I'm not going to tell you which one to do it. You pick your favorite. As long as we're all getting the same answer, then I am good to go. It's kind of like if there's, if I said, let's go to Walmart. Hey, there is about 5 different ways we can go to Walmart. I don't care which way you go. As long as we all get to Walmart, I'm happy. And Walmart is our correct answer. So let's all get to Walmart. So the first one, I think I'll do the first option, option 1, which is find the x and y intercept, and then graph based on the intercept. So I think that's what I'm going to do for that first guy. So first is to find the x-intercept. So to find x, I'm going to plug in 0 for y and solve for x. So 3x plus 4, I'm plugging in 0 for x, for y. Solve for x. Well, 4 times 0 is 0, so I'm left with 3x equals 12. Divide by 3, and I've got x equals 4. If I were to put this as a point, though, be 4, 0. Right? Y-intercept is opposite. I'm plugging in 0 for x and solving for y. So I've got 3. I'm going to plug in 0 for x. And then I'm going to solve for y. 3 times 0 is 0, so I'm left with 4y equals 12. Divide everything by 4. And I've got 12, not 12. Y equals 3, and if I were to put that as a point, it'd be over 0, but I'm going up 3 on my y. Then it also asks for the 0. Remember, SOX, solutions, zeros, x-intercept. It means the same thing. Where's it crossing the x-axis? And again, these two things are the same thing. They mean the same thing. Same. Let me write on that. So the 0 would be 4. Okay, so I have the intercepts. Let's graph. So my x-intercept was 4, 0. So I'm going over positive 4, up 0, putting a point. My y-intercept, I'm going over 0, but I'm going up 3 and putting a point. Then you're just going to connect your dots. Woo. Connect your dots. And there's our line. So there's one way to do it. Solve for x-intercept, solve for y-intercept, graph them and plot them. That's option 1. Again, to find x-intercept, you plug in 0 for y, solve for x. To find y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x, solve for y. Option 2 was to get this in this in slope-intercept form. So I've got 2x minus y equals 4. So 2x minus y equals 4. I'm going to have y on one side, everything else on the other. I've got to subtract 2x. So I've got negative y equals negative 2x plus 4. Divide everything by negative 1. And I've got y equals 2x minus 4. So now I can just look at this and know 2 is my slope and negative 4 is my y-intercept. Slope, y-intercept. Whoops. So for y-intercept, I've got over 0, down negative 4. And again, I'm not solving for the x and intercepts and zeros, so you can just cross those out for here. If the question does ask you for it, then you would need to know it. But then I'm starting at negative 4. My b is my beginning. So I'm starting at negative 4, and then I'm going up 2 over 1 for my slope. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Then I'm just going through, connecting my dots, and ba-bam. There's my line. So there's the other option. Also, just by looking at my graph, we can now find it by looking at it. Let me pick a different color here. My x-intercept is where this crosses, and it crosses right here at 2. So my x-intercept is over 2, and you're not moving any. And again, these are the same thing. So 2 would be the 0 for that. And you can tell after you've graphed it what it was. I didn't have to know beforehand. So those are the two ways. I don't care which way you do it. Either find x and y-intercept and graph those and connect the points, or find slope-intercept form, and you'll have your M and your B all ready to go. Okay, so let's try some word problems, because you know EOC is going to be giving us word problems because they're mean that way. So the first one says, an artist rents a booth at an art show for $300. The function f of x equals 50x minus 30 represents the artist's profit, where x is the number of painting the artist sells. Okay? So what is the slope? If I'm looking at this right here, whatever number's next to my x is my slope. This is put in slope-intercept form. So all I have to do is look at this and see what's happening, right? It's all giving me pretty. Slope, y-intercept, all right there. So the slope is 50. And it's asking, what does this mean in this situation? This is our profit per painting, right? If I sell one painting, I get $50. 50 times 1 is 50. Sell 2 paintings, I get $100. 50 times 2 is 100. 3 paintings, 50 times 3 is 150. So it's my profit. And so profit is my y, painting is my x. And again, y per x means slope. It's just another way of saying slope. And this says, what is my y-intercept? Again, it's given to me nice and pretty. That would be negative 300. What does that mean? That's our initial profit, which actually means we're in debt because we had to pay for this booth. So $300 in debt. What is the zero of the function? So 0, again, it's asking for the x-intercept. So x-intercept, I've got the equation up here. F of x equals 50x minus 30, or 300. I don't know why I keep saying 30. If I'm looking for the 0, I'm going to plug in 0 for y and solve for x. Remember, f of x is just a fancy way of saying y. Plus 300 plus 300. So I've got 300 equals 50x. Divide by 50, divide by 50. And I have x equals 6. So the 0 of this function would be 6. And then it says, what does this mean? Well, 0, if I plug in 0 for y, my profit would be $0. So I no longer have the $300. I paid off that $300, right? So 6 months equal a $0 profit. It is your break-even point. So I no longer owe anything. I'm out of debt, but I haven't made anything yet. So it's my break-even point. I don't owe the $300 anymore, but I didn't make any money on top of it either. So that's looking at that situation. Let's look at this next one. It says the school band is selling sweatshirts and baseball caps to raise $9,000 to attend a band competition. Sweatshirts cost $25 each, and baseball caps cost $10 each. The equation is 25x plus 10y equals 9,000. Models a situation where x is the number of sweatshirts sold and y is the number of baseball caps sold. Answer the questions below, then graph the situation on the graph to the right. So first it says, find and interpret the intercepts. So first, we need x and y intercept. Let's do that over here so I have a little bit more room. X-intercept, again, I'm going to plug in 0 for y and solve for x. 10, 0 equals 9,000. Well, this goes away. I'm left with 25x equals 9,000. divide everything by 25, and I'm left with x equals 360. Y-intercept, this time I'm plugging in 0 for x and solving for y. That goes away, I'm left with 10y equals 9,000. I can just cross zeros out, so now I'm left with y equals 900. So x-intercept was 360, 0, and y-intercept was 0, 900. Then it says, if 258 sweatshirts are sold, how many baseball caps are sold? So again, it's telling me sweatshirts. Sweatshirts is X. So I'm going to take my equation and I'm going to plug in how many were sold, 258. So 258 plus 10y equals, I got to move over, sorry y'all. 25, 258 plus 10y equals 9,000. Well, 25 times 258 is going to be 6,450 plus 10y equals 9,000 minus 6450, 6450, 10y equals, I believe that's 2,580 divided by 10 divided by 10, y equals 258, I think. Actually, I think this is 255, sorry. 255 would be our answer. Okay. So then we're going to plot our line. I've got 360, 0, and 0, 900. So I'm going to use those intercepts to help me out here. So let's just count 40, 80, 60, 240, 300, 400. Then on the side here we've got 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000. So if I go to plot my points, my first one is over 360, 0. So over 360, 0. And my second one is over 0, up 900. Then I'm just going to connect my points. And then last question says, what are two possible combinations? Y'all, anything on this line is a combination that works. So anything that falls on the line is something that's going to work as long as it's on the line. So any of these points all the way down the line are possible combinations. And that's it. Those are, that's standard form. AX plus BY equals C. Thank y'all for listening. Have a great day.